So what are we concentrating on now?
So this is your adolescence and teenage years, like 13 to 19. You started talking about you and John going to Morris Brothers Ashgrove.
Yep.
And how your mother was involved in the union.
Yep.
You want to keep talking about that? Well,
So at that, our house was in Ashgrove, and it was I suppose it was a 20, 30-minute walk to school. 30 minutes, I'd say. Walk to the school.
no buses in those days?
No, we had there were trams, and so a lot of the boys would arrive by tram at the top of Glenline Drive and then walk down Glenline Drive to the school. Whereas we were at the top of Glenline Drive, essentially where we lived, so we just walked down. So there'd be kids sort of getting off the tram, walking down as well, but what can I say about the school? Well, it was a Morris Brothers school. The biggest Morris Brothers school in Sydney is St Joseph's, St Joey's, which everybody knows is a fantastic rugby union school. And the Morris Brothers, I think they had really their biggest concentration was in New Zealand, and then they came across here. So it's no surprise that rugby union was their
Big thing.
And they had established this. They bought up the land on the outskirts of Brisbane. Hoping to establish another St Joseph's.
So that
the Sydney school. You know.
So this is a Morris school. So that's
Morris Brothers.
So these were priests and brothers teaching.
No, the brothers.
All brothers.
Mm.
And so it was a very religious school.
It was religious. You know, very religious. I don't know. You know, no different to any other Catholic school, I suppose.
Is this
no different to Waverley, for example.
Yeah. Which is, we had chapel once a week.
Yeah.
And there was altar boys and the brothers taught, and Stan Williams was one of the teachers.
Well, he was Brother Vitalis.
Brother Vitalis, who was, it's interesting because he went on to teach us at Waverley.
He left the order, Morris Brothers, became a lay teacher, and married a woman.
So when I was at Waverley, he dubbed me Sleepyhead O'Connor. And I've got a recollection of, did you tell me once that he called you Sleepyhead O'Connor as well?
I'm not surprised.
Is that story true, or is that something
I
I've
don't know.
misremembered?
Don't know.
Okay.
Too long ago.
So the school had a religious background to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, do you feel like you took that on? You became religious at
Yes.
that school?
Yeah.
How devout were you?
Whatever was required, that's what I'd say, you know. We went to Mass every Sunday. We'd go to confession once a week. and I believed what the brothers told us. So if they told us that it was always the fear of hell that was dominating our thinking, and if you didn't do certain things, then you may end up in hell. So you had to go to church once a week, every Sunday. Otherwise, it was a mortal sin, I think, if you blatantly didn't go, put it that way, defiantly didn't go. And one of the most dramatic things I can remember is we were told that some of us would be called by God. The odds would be some boys in our class would be called by God to join the religious order. In other words, we had a vocation, we were called by God, and if we ignored God's call, it was grounds for a mortal sin. And if you really had a calling, you really had a vocation, and you refused the vocation, you would go to hell.
Did you ever have the calling?
I didn't know. Obviously, how would you know? So
better to not risk it. It's a more
it's funny how it sorted itself out. There was a brother Andrew who used to come around every year. I think once a year he would come around, and he would, anybody who thought they might have a vocation, he would interview them. And allegedly, he would be able to tell you whether or not you had a vocation. And I've no doubt at all that he was just looking for starters, people, to workforce, you know. And anyway, this particular time I can remember. This was in my last year when I was starting to get a bit worried about it. Do I have a vocation or don't I? Then I went to see Brother Andrew, and I walked in, and I'd been playing football, I think, outside, and apparently I was dishevelled, hair, and I remember my hairs on my arms was sort of standing up, and I walked in, and he said, "Oh," a hairy boy, eh? A wild boy. We don't like wild boys. He said, "I would advise you to come back another time. Tidy yourself up, and come back another time." And there was just this sense of relief. I don't have a vocation. I don't need to take it. I don't need to take this any further. I've had the word from
a wild boy. I'm out.
That's good enough for me, and I have not got a vocation. And so
you may not have had a religious vocation, but did religion play a part in you choosing to become a doctor?
No.
What was your? Was it just that's what my dad did, or what was your reason?
My mother had decided, early on that she thought the best thing I could do would be to do medicine, and so I went along with it.
Yeah.
I sort of resisted it a bit, but in the end, it just made sense anyway.
So was it hard to get into medicine in those days?
No.
That's surprising.
It's surprising. Well,
Well, it's one of those.
no, I'd say this. I suppose we had a class of say 25 kids in my senior year. 4 of us got into medicine, and I'd say probably 10 of us, 12 of us would have had sufficient marks to get into medicine, something like that.
Yeah.
4 of us took it up. And
But it was probably a pretty superior school.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it was a private school, but there was nothing very. So it's nowadays. I mean, doesn't matter what school it is. I mean, to get into medicine, you've got to be, only 1 in 100 would sort of get in. We're not talking about
Less.
4 in 25, and so it's certainly nothing like today's standard. And we used to joke a bit that the brothers, a lot of them were young, they're fresh out of I forgot what they call
Seminary.
it. Seminary, yeah, fresh out of the seminary, and they. We thought that they were 1 page ahead of us in the book. And, they still made a fairly good job of it, I think, that wasn't a bad way of doing it,
You mean they basically just learned
the night before. And so some of them were experienced teachers, but some of them were very, it was all new stuff to them, But,
Yeah, you sound like you got a decent education out of the school in the end.
Yes, it was all right. It was good, and I mean, and they introduced us to philosophy. That was one thing that I'd say, and so there'd be these philosophical discussions that I found very interesting, and I'm sure influenced my thinking for life.
Is there any in particular that you recollect?
I don't.
Generally about life and death, religion, Plato, what kind of fields?
No, I mean, we never had classical bloody sort of philosophy, but it was more. It would have been more to do with the Roman Catholic philosophy, which I can't.
Sort of religious doctrine philosophy.
Yeah. Which, is Aquinas, people like that.
So also at school, your hobbies and your social life. You mentioned you played a bit of rugby.
Well, you had no choice at Ashgrove.
It's a big rugby school.
Big rugby school, and in summer you played cricket, in winter you played rugby.
So what position did you play?
I was a bit of a freak. I was 6'2", 3", and I weighed 10 stone 6.
Second row.
I should have been second row or breakaway, and but they didn't seem to care where they put you, and I ended up sometimes in the front row, which when I look at it now, I'd say that's just bloody lunatic stuff. If ever anybody should have had a broken neck, then, but we didn't sort of, the scrum wasn't the bloody sort of great big push.
Main show.
In those days, it was just you know, everybody would crouch down, they'd put the ball in and it'd come out somehow, you know, and
Were you good?
no, I was no good. I was too light, too tall. You know, if somebody had taken me in hand and sort of, I would need to have sort of built up somehow, you know, weightlifting or something, and really learned how to. See, I was very tall and I was very useful in the line-out, but it was hopeless, because I can remember when I was standing in the line-out, the opposition guy next door to me would have his arm over my shoulder. How can you jump with that? You know, and the referees didn't care. And I mean, I thought, oh well, this is the name of the game.
It's just how it's going to go.
And but that was, you know.
So you had to play, but you did enjoy rugby.
Oh, yeah, I did. You know, there's
It's not very convincing.
no, I wasn't a, you know.
Not massively.
No. I played cricket and I was quite a good cricketer, so I enjoyed that. But
Yeah. You were a bowler.
and a batsman.
You were a good batsman as well, yeah.
I was an opening batsman, and I only ever played for the seconds. But anyway, I was probably the top bowler, and in 1 year I topped the batting average in the seconds.
It's good.
So I probably should have gone into the first, but anyway, it was younger fellows who were coming along who were just as good, and so they chose them. You know. But anyway, that was all right.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's good. What about your friends at that time? Did you have many school friends? Were you popular?
Was I popular? As much as anybody else, I suppose. Do I still see any of those guys? No, not really. You know, I still see guys from my university time, but no, I don't see.
Was there some overlap there with guys that you went to school with that you ended up going to university with?
What's that again?
Did guys that you went to high school with end up going to university with you?
It was. All four of us went to university from my senior school year. We were all in the same year, and but I qualified in matriculated in medicine, if you like, in 1962, and so that the medical year of 1962, we still meet. You know, we meet every couple of years, and so there's sort of fairly strong relationships there. But the school thing, it just didn't. You know, when I go back to Brisbane, I see people who lived around where we were, but the Naps. I'm just trying to think. There aren't, you know, the school. I would love to sort of, you know, link up with them. But anyway, that's.
So these are the years when you would have gone from a child to a young adult. So people would have started drinking during these years?
Yes,
I believe you took a
I took a
vow.
vow.
Do you wanna-
So once a year we'd have a retreat at school, and the aim of a retreat was to sort of stand back, look, and sort of rethink your life.
reflect, self-reflect.
Yeah. So there'd be periods of silence where no one would talk. You're just thinking. And anyway, one of they'd have these preachers who would sort of really hammer home the whole concept of hell, and now you've got to sort of look at your life and see just where you do stand. Are you going to end up going to hell, or are you going to go to heaven? That sort of thing. And so one of these preachers sort of convinced me anyway that it would be a good idea if I didn't drink until I was 25. So I took a vow of not drinking.
So it wasn't your idea, it was...
No,
brothers.
it was a number of people would have done it, and I got to about 22, I suppose, 23, and then
Which is probably most of the way through your medicine degree.
which meant I missed out on a lot,
Mm.
but I don't think it did me any great harm.
No,
I think
probably kept you a little clearer.
Yes. Maybe I got through, whereas I might not have got through. And so it was only in my last couple of years at university that I can remember having a drink at all, and I didn't drink that much anyway.
Mm. Well, that's sort of bringing us on to the university years, so we'll stop here and then restart in a sec.